There's a second one. And obviously, Aguilar was still shaken midway through the rest period.
Almost all of the damage done in round one by the straight right hand of Julio Cesar Chavez. Aguilar begins round two backing up. Still doesn't look entirely certain of himself.
Chavez feels that he can get in more punches by becoming more aggressive, and that is so true. Just rushing himself, but he has to be careful because you see these punches that are being thrown, they have a tendency to bruise and cut. Chavez is really starting to get a little over anxious.
Yeah, he's taking a little bit more than he needs to get inside, but there again, the right landed and backed Aguilar up. Chavez wipes the blood from his own eye and looks at it on his glove. Julio Cesar Chavez has only been cut once before.
Chavez can't just stand there and take those punches like that. Although Aguilar is not really a big puncher.
Yeah, and he takes a punch pretty well. And he took what Edwin Rosario had to offer, and Rosario may be the hardest puncher in the lightweight division.
But what's happening here, Jim, is in fact Aguilar's throwing punches. Ray, do you feel that Chavez feels some urgency about this situation because he knows he does have some blood, or even if it isn't serious? I see a sign of frustration in the eyes of Chavez because normally he's a much more composed fighter. He takes his time and he's able to put his punches together. Here against the southpaw, he's had major problems here.
Well, one of the things which is said of Chavez by those who have seen him a lot is that he will take his time and be patient unless you hurt him and make him mad.
I was expecting more body shots from Chavez to bring those hands down with Aguilar, to slow that movement down with Aguilar.
One sign of anxiety is that Chavez, for a moment there, was chasing Aguilar around the ring, rather than cutting the ring off on him, something he does so well.
For Chavez, he needs to throw combinations and stop trying to load up with one punch, and that's what he's doing here.
Fewer than 30 seconds to go in round two, as you can see.
This is not really a good round for Chavez.
No, a pattern of frustration beginning to develop here for Chavez.
He just hit bloody Aguilar's nose with a left hook.
Round two comes to a close. Chavez continuing to deal out punishment, but perhaps not at the rate he might most prefer. And now we go to Chavez's corner.
I thought Aguilar made a good comeback in that round, considering what happened to him at the end of the previous round.
Okay, keep on fighting. You're doing very well. Now, keep on fighting with two hands. Always go upstairs. We are going to win this fight. Left hook, left hook, left hook and right. Left hook and right. It's already done. No more problem here. Let's get it work. Let's get to work. Left hook, always left hook.
Here's Chavez going in again and landing a good solid right in the mouth and backing up Aguilar. Well, Aguilar did come to fight, and although he may not win this one, he's showing his manager that he's willing to stand in there with a man who's regarded as one of the best fighters in the world.
You see the names of the fighters and the colors of the trunks which identify them in this WBA World Lightweight Championship bout. First of a doubleheader here from the Las Vegas Hilton on HBO.
You notice that Chavez is starting to reach in with his punches, starting to really become over anxious, not really setting his man up. The jab would do that also to get closer. And for a guy that's this tall, a southpaw, it makes it quite different. It's not an easy task.
Perhaps Chavez has not been as disciplined about going to the body in the last round and a half, as we would customarily expect from him. A lot of head hunting.
That's the key, because this guy's so tall and rangy, and he's throwing overhand rights and lefts, and he's giving Chavez a different look. The body shots will slow all that down.
Certainly Aguilar has taken the worst of it so far, but by the same token, he seems to be gaining confidence with each passing minute.
There is definitely frustration in the eyes of Cesar. I know he's got his hand. Again, Aguilar's not really a big puncher, but his punches do sting.
And he's starting to find avenues through which to land them, Ray. A couple of right hands to the side of Chavez's head moments ago. Another great right by Chavez. Straight up the middle.
The difference we have with both fighters is the fact that although Chavez is throwing the heavier punches, Aguilar is throwing a combination.
Chavez landed twice to the head during the clinch before Richard Steele pulled them apart.
A couple low blows by both fighters.
Aguilar becoming increasingly more active as the third round moves along. In the final 30 seconds of round 3 of this first of 2 World Championship bouts. Waiting in their dressing rooms, Marlon Starling, the WBA welterweight champ, and Mark Breland in the role of challenger. And as round 3 ends, Chavez continues to stalk an increasingly more self-possessed #1 challenger Rodolfo Aguilar. And
There's Marlon Starling. Very self-possessed fellow.
How you like me now?
A man who had to believe in himself because not too many other people did.
He is getting tired. He's opening his mouth like crazy. He is. You have to keep on moving. How's your legs? Okay, some Vaseline. Some Vaseline. The legs are okay? Okay.
Agua.
Water.
Vamos.
More water.
Vamos, moviendo.
Okay, move it. Jab, please.
If you had taken 3-to-1 odds that you could get here in the legal bookmakers, that the fight would have ended by the end of the third round, you would have lost your money. It's even money if the fight doesn't go past 6 rounds.
You saw in the corner the tiny cut on the left eyelid of Aguilar, which now ranks as a target for Chavez, but Aguilar lands twice in close. Good left by Chavez in that exchange, but he took one in return.
You'll notice when Chavez attempts to throw his right hand, he brings that right foot up. And those are the type of problems that southpaw presents. Because again, it doesn't enable you to get proper leverage behind your punches. Aguilar's doing a good job here with his combination.
Chavez now back to concentrating on the body, but having more difficulty getting through than was the case in round 1. The straight right lands again.
Believe it or not, the best punch that I found effective on southpaw is not with a straight right hand, but a looping right hand, because it goes inside of the glove.
Now there's blood coming from the nose of Aguilar as well as from above his left eye.
That's the right hand there that Chavez threw.
But again, Jim, he needs to throw combinations. Chavez needs to throw more punches. Put him in bunches. There's the right hand again.
And the looping right hand that you suggested landed that time. Increasingly, Chavez looks to come up underneath to get to the body.
But he has to work his way inside and be a little more composed.
Good right hand by Aguilar. Tilted Chavez for a moment. Well, certainly as we proceed toward the closing seconds of round 4, there can be no doubt in Julio Cesar Chavez's mind that he's in against a qualified opponent.
Combination again by Aguilar. Chavez telling him to come on in.
I thought that was a sign of frustration on Chavez's part that he would do that. Aguilar is fighting a very sophisticated fight. He's not running as most of us thought he would. He's fighting what one of his handlers called a technically punishing fight. He's trying to stay outside of Chavez's range and then jump in with those quick, long left hands. Let's go to Harold Letterman, our unofficial official to see his scoring of the fight.
Well, thank you, Larry. I've got it 38-37 in favor of Rodolfo Aguilar in a close fight. I give Chavez an extra point for the clean knockdown in round 1. But Aguilar's doing a great job with hand speed, and I gave him the last 3 rounds because of the fact that he's landed so many punches.
I have the exact same score on my card. It means that the man we had designated as the heir apparent to the pound-for-pound championship is going to have to show us some stuff and come from behind. And if he's worthy of that title, then he will come from behind.
Chavez fairly sprints out of his corner to begin round 5. And Richard Steele says, hold on just a second.
They forgot his mouthpiece.
Yeah, he'll need that. Steele refereed Chavez's destruction of Edwin Rosario, so he has seen at close range what Julio Cesar Chavez is capable of. So far, he hasn't seen the same kind of performance tonight, but that right hand got across the top of the guard of Rodolfo Aguilar. Aguilar landing the jab 2 or 3 times. Chavez feels constrained to have to leap in to throw the left.
Chavez is more so following Aguilar around the ring instead of cutting the ring off.
He's been chasing him since round 2, Ray.
And in doing so, because of the movement of Aguilar, it's being difficult for Chavez to put his punches together. He's been loading up since round 1. Good left hook by Chavez.
And you saw that the right sent Aguilar reeling for the moment. Aguilar begins to hang on.
Aguilar did the right thing, tie his man up, but now he must move because he's still on quit streak.
Another right hand.
Now we may see more combinations by Chavez. There's that right hand, that beautiful looping right hand.
And Aguilar's left eye is beginning to close up, Ray.
It comes, the punching of Chavez, the way he throws that looping right hand, because it comes on the blind side of his southpaw.
Aguilar won't step back. Continues to land punches, even amid his temporary distress. Chavez begins to look a little more composed again. But we near the end of round 5, and as Larry Merchant pointed out, it was even money here as to whether this bout would make it through 6 rounds.
That was a much better round for Chavez. If he had, maybe he had the habit of laying back after knocking him down in the first round. He might have relaxed a little. I think he's back into it now.
Are you tired? I'm asking you if you're tired.
Respirando fuerte.
A deep breath. Breathe deeply. Okay. Get the air out. Get the air out. At distance, always throw your jab.
Let's watch as Chavez goes to work. Comes in close to left. Always moving forward. Always moving forward. So, since Aguilar is proving that General Noriega isn't the only lightweight in Panama right now.
We asked Rodolfo Aguilar if he were acquainted with General Noriega. He insisted only de periódico, solamente de newspapers. Round 6 begins, and Chavez continues to stalk at close range.
Chavez needs to be very careful about the way he plants his feet. He has both feet together. It's easy to be knocked down. It doesn't matter how big or small punch you are, because you're off balance.
Well, there's a certain arrogance in any great fighter, and you get the impression that Chavez doesn't believe Aguilar can hurt him.
Aguilar appears to be wearing down now. Those uppercuts, and the looping right hand, look at that beautiful shot.
Aguilar looking for a place to fall after the right hand. And his corner is up on the apron. Steele looks at the corner as if to say, do you want in? And they do want in. And Richard Steele stops the fight.
A great fighter does what he has to do to look great. And after having some difficulty for a few rounds following a first round knockdown, Chavez goes to work and ends the fight sensationally.
1 minute, 13 seconds of the 6th round.
Thank you.
And Julio Cesar Chavez runs his record officially to 57-0. So it was a fight in which there were more than a few moments of frustration for Julio Cesar Chavez, and if he proved anything tonight, Ray, it is that he can overcome temporary frustration and go on to knock his opponent out.
Well, it was indeed frustration, and the right hand pretty much started everything. Aguilar fought a pretty good fight, but what wore Aguilar down was the inside fighting and the looping right hands. That right hand there proved the effect against southpaws. Aguilar at this point here is out of it.
He wanted a place to fall down after Chavez landed the right hand to the temple, one of the vulnerable areas which can sometimes create a knockout. As you see this right hand land, you'll see right next to the eye on the temple, and Aguilar said, that'll do.
I'm sure that Chavez will go back and watch the tape, and he will find that the best way to fight at southpaw is to be a little more composed. The looping right hand, it's a beautiful shot.
I remember you against a southpaw named Ayub Kaluli. It wasn't your best-looking performance either, but you were able to come back, dominate the late rounds, and win the fight, just as Chavez was able to do here. And here are the final punch stat computations. Chavez throwing 273 punches, landing 143 of them. You see that Aguilar was the much busier fighter, though without landing nearly as many blows. And right now, let's go up to ring announcer Chuck Hull for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 13 seconds of the 6th round. Referee Richard Steele stops the bout. The winner by a TKO, still undefeated, and still the WBA lightweight champion of the world, Julio Cesar Chavez.
And now let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring with the winner.
Julio, did you relax after the first round knockdown and give him a chance to show his stuff in the next 3 rounds?
Que si descansaste después que lo tumbaste en el primer round y lo dejaste que cogiera un poco de aire.
No, la verdad que Aguilar me resultó un poco difícil por su estatura.
In reality, Aguilar resulted a very difficult man.
Was he difficult because of his height, because he was left-handed, or because of both, or because he was just a good fighter?
Era difícil porque es más alto, porque es izquierdo, zurdo, o por ambas razones.
Bueno, porque es zurdo y porque es muy alto.
Because he's too tall and he is left-handed, he's southpaw.
Además, no es excusa, pero
This is not an excuse, but
ando malo en el estómago, subí con diarrea.
I don't feel too good in my stomach. I have a diarrhea.
Did you feel that coming into the fight, or did it give you some problems as the fight went along? Did you?
¿Sentiste esto antes de venir a pelear o empezó cuando subiste al ring?
No, la diarrea me empezó después del pesaje porque
Right after the weigh-in.
yo creo que la comida me cayó mal.
I think the food what I ate today didn't agree with me.
Incluso ahorita me está doliendo el estómago.
Right now I have a stomach ache.
Did he feel urgency about getting rid of his opponent after he felt a little blood over his eye, or because of his stomach problems?
¿Sentiste urgencia en acabar con él cuando le viste la sangre en la cara o porque te molestaba el estómago?
Me molestaba mucho el estómago y además me pegó un cabezazo.
Y my stomach was bothering me and also he hit me with the head.
One last thing. The other day when we interviewed him, we asked him who he thought was the best fighter pound for pound in the world. He thought for a minute and then he raised his hand and smiled sheepishly and he admitted that he was. Did he think he proved that again
Cuando te
tonight?
entrevistamos hace unos días quién era el mejor boxeador libra por libra, tú pensaste por un momento y de repente levantaste la mano diciendo soy yo, que si ahora piensas lo mismo que pensaste en esa oportunidad.
Buenos días, estoy tratando de ser uno de los mejores del mundo. Yo sé que lo voy a lograr.
I'm trying to be one of the best in the world and I know I'm going to achieve that.
Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
love
very
you
much.
tonight. I love you so much.
Back to ringside.
All right, so Julio Cesar Chavez has taken care of his business. A final word on that fight from you, Ray. This mantle of best fighter pound for pound in the world, you've worn it at various times during your career. Does it create a kind of pressure that we might have seen Chavez struggling with a bit there in that bout?
You can't use that fight to gauge this man's career. I mean, it was a good fight, a very frustrating fight for Chavez, but he proved that he was the dominant one. In the later rounds, he was able to come in with that overhand right and was able to put away Aguilar.
All right, we're going to move up now in the next bout to a higher weight class, the one which Ray Leonard occupied early in his career, the welterweight bout between Marlon Starling and Mark Freeland. A grudge bout of sorts, as we show you now.